Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, Big and Furry Bovine, and joining me is Brian and Bronk. But Bronk is Edith Piaf today because he has no regrets. and I know. No, I'm not going to.
And unlike Moliere, he has no books.
I want to start out the program by correcting myself because I'm going to dig into a few people here afterwards, but I'm going to start with myself because I think that's the accountable thing to do. You know, a lot of things that happen when you're watching a game in real time, and then when you get a chance to start looking at it a second time, you see it in a different light. I made a comment in the post-game show that had to do with the Browns' last possession where they got one first down and then things went to hell. And it started out, if you recall, with the timeout because the team could not get aligned properly, and they used up the second of 3 timeouts. The play that they ran afterwards, I criticized on the post-game show, saying it was a play that really didn't have any kind of a chance to work because it was really a slow-forming play. However, I am going to do a little screen sharing so that I can prove to you that I was wrong about this. Maybe the timing of the play wasn't quite as good as what it could have been. All right. But, let's see what I can do here. And I apologize, as I am to my co-hosts, about some of the awkwardness of this. Is this showing on screen now?
Not yet.
I'm not seeing anything.
All right. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Go. All right. All right, now I'm going to try to share this and see what happens. All right, there. That should be correct, right?
There is something on the screen. Yes, the play is about to begin.
All right, very good. All right, and I just went full screen on it. I can control. This is a very, very short 5-second video. This is the play that I was questioning. And I wanted to do this in real motion so you could understand what I saw when it happened. And it was like I was shaking my big cow head. Here's your play. Now, when you look at that play, you say to yourself, what in the hell was that? All right. And that's what I was criticizing. And I'll show it to you again in real time. And so you have an idea of what happened. This was not a bad play call. And I want to explain why. If you start the play out and you look at the source of the play, and I'm going to go with my little pointer up here, if you can see this. This block right here, this is Wyatt Teller wiping out a blitzer, okay? Pancaked him, all right? Now, you can see the lane right here that I'm pointing to that he has an opening. He gets to this little bit of daylight, and this is going to be at least a 10-yard gain because there won't be contact, but 6 yards downfield, and he averages getting 4 after contact. And that's if you hit him the first time at 6 yards down the field. All right. So what went wrong? What went wrong on this play is all happening up here. The play is designed to run to the right, and you could see that there was a lane. Number 95, Jones for the Kansas City Chiefs, who's laying right in here where I'm circling. There was an imbalanced line where there were fewer blockers on the left-hand side of the line for that, or on our right-hand side, over here where I'm circling. You see fewer men, and there are more men over here compared to who we have. What we have over here is the guy who was our third string left tackle, okay? And there are a bunch of people, and we ran the ball in the correct direction. However, it didn't work out because this back end fell apart too quickly. allowing Jones to come into the backfield and grab Chubb by the back of his jersey, which slowed the play down, which then allowed others to recover. So now you're looking at it from a different perspective, and you can see Jones getting his hands on him. But the point of all of this, all right, and I'm going to stop sharing, but there's more that I'm going to share with you. There's a bunch, actually. The next is what the play looked like. And I'm going to go to application window, and let's go to photos. And I want to make sure that this is a little bit awkward here because the things that I'm trying to share it isn't so clear. There's a series of things. I'm going to see what comes up here. And I really don't want to share that right now. I'm sorry about this. I told you this was going to be a work in progress. I don't like the way the screen share really works on this. I know how to get up what I'm looking for, but it's not helping me one iota.
Good thing you got out of business before PowerPoint took over. That's all I got to say.
What I want to do is show you photos, and it's not allowing me to show a photo the way I want to do it. And this is what I was afraid of. And I am going to try one more time to get this to work. I don't know why this is this way, but
the Wilson hit on Mahomes.
Yeah, here we go. This is what Andy Reid misled the entire country about. All right. Are you seeing this photo now?
Yeah.
Okay. Andy Reid, after the game, was quoted that Patrick Mahomes is doing great after he left the divisional game against the Browns for a concussion. He got hit in the back of the head, Reid said. It kind of knocked the wind out of him more than anything else, so we took him out. He did not get hit in the back of the head. There is no truth to this whatsoever. It is a filthy lie. In fact, all this, Patrick Mahomes took a huge hit. No, he did not. He did not take a huge hit.
He did take an awkward hit.
What happens on the play can be seen here in a series of photographs. And unfortunately, I don't know how to bring all of them up. But this was the picture, and I'll see if I can first of all, you can't get a concussion from a helmet-to-helmet hit without the quarterback's head being jarred and moving. And when you see this play being shown, there was none of that, okay? None of it at all. And I'm going to show you the play exactly as it occurred. And I'm going to share that with you. Goodness gracious. It shouldn't be this difficult, folks. Really. I'm angry when people say things that aren't true. It pisses me off. And the coach should know better. And he does know better. And instead, this is what he chooses to do. And let's see if I can find this. And I think we have it to share it. Here we go. All right. You got that on your screen now?
See it.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to run the play, and you're going to see the wobbling off the field, but watch the play itself.
If anything, he gets his neck twisted. He doesn't get.
You're going to see clearly what happened, and it got nothing to do with Mac Wilson. Watch.
Yep.
Now, somebody explain to me, like I'm a 6-year-old here, explain to me how this is even being insinuated as being hit in the head. And I'm going to do this basically bit by bit. And you see him coming in. Watch him turn his head away from contact. He's looking in the same direction that Mahomes is. He's moved the crown of his helmet away. And there is no head-to-head contact. In fact, if you go back one frame, you would find that he actually hit the shoulder pad of Mahomes. It's his arm that is going to wrap around Mahomes. There. You see how his arm is wrapping around him? Watch how Mahomes falls. This is like a pile driver, folks. This had nothing to do with the hit by Mack Wilson. It had to do with the way that Patrick Mahomes fell to the ground, which there's no way that Mack Wilson has any control over. All right? And booyah! Okay? This is where the concussion happens.
Yeah.
He face planted.
Exactly.
Now, because of Andy Reid and his irresponsible conspiracy theory that never happened, Mack Wilson has gotten threats on Twitter from Chiefs fans for no damn good reason. And the fact of the matter is, it wasn't even a bodacious hit. And we'll run the play through the end, and you'll see it from another angle as well. There's your face plant, and then the rollover.
That's the more twisting of the neck I was referring to there.
All right. So now, here we go from the other angle. There's no way that was helmet-to-helmet contact, all right?
I think he's still struggling with his ankle there more than anything.
Well, and that is the other point of this. And, you know.
That's why he probably fell awkwardly, because his ankle's fucked.
So, again, this is the kind of irresponsible crap that we get reported because people have to deflect blame from themselves onto others.
Yeah, but don't you think that the medical
the only person responsible for Patrick Mahomes' injury is Andy Reid. Andy Reid is the only one responsible. The fact of the matter is, when you have a guy with a bad ankle in the game and you tell him to run an unprotected quarterback sweep and he gets face planted into the ground on a clean hit and he comes up with a fucking concussion, you are the one who okayed that. Don't be going to the press saying that Mack Wilson hit him in the back of the head. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Yeah, Bronk.
Yeah, a healthy Mahomes fucking gets around Mack Wilson or jukes him out of his fucking shoes. There's no way that Mack Wilson,
like he did to Myles Garrett in the first quarter.
Yeah, he jukes him out. Doesn't even get hit.
But if you want a glimpse into Andy Reid, all right, he said Monday he didn't know whether Patrick Mahomes would be able to clear the NFL's concussion protocol in time to play in Sunday's AFC Championship game. But Reid indicated that Mahomes may have felt well enough to have returned to Sunday's divisional round game. After taking a hit and being knocked to the ground, Mahomes got up and momentarily staggered. He then headed for a brief exam in the sideline medical tent before bounding quickly down a set of steps and then running up the Arrowhead Stadium tunnel to the Chiefs' locker room. Here's what Reid had to say after thinking about his "he got hit in the back of the head" comment. "There was a chance back in the day when Patrick comes back in the game," Reid said. "You saw him run up the tunnel. By the time he got to that point, he was feeling pretty good. But there's a certain protocol you have to follow that takes it out of the trainer's hand to the player's hand and puts it in the doctor's hands." Well, God forbid, Andy, we should put something in medical people's hands when your fucking players are dying at an average age of 57 years of age. And if that was enough to give him a concussion, I'd hate to think what a real bodacious cheap shot, the way the Steelers deliver it, would do to the guy. If you want to go
Crooked Joe
back to
Judge,
days
man.
gone by, Andy Reid, back when there were no concussion protocols, I suggest you just have a heart attack and die. Because we can go back to a time when people who were fat out of shape like you would have been dead 10 years before you hit the age you're at right now. I get tired of this. Why can't he just say, maybe it wasn't the smartest thing in the world to run a naked quarterback sweep under the circumstances?
Oh, Andy Reid is the most infallible human being on the planet. Haven't you heard?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I do know.
According to Andy Reid.
Yeah. I can tell you this about Andy Reid now. He doesn't give a fuck about his player safety. He doesn't give a fuck. Because he could take a look at that and say, well, I guess maybe I was wrong about him getting hit in the back of the head. But you know something? Yeah, he's going to come back in the game. If he was a tough guy, just like we used to do in the old days. Yeah. You know, it's like you learn nothing. The players are pawns to people like this, and they don't give a shit about the health of the players. And it makes me fucking sick to my stomach. That is what pissed me off the most. And, then this, all right? And I'm not done yet. Not by a long shot. Here is from our favorite Cleveland.com site, reported by Mary Kay Cabbagehead. Are you ready for this? The NFL won't suspend Chief Safety Daniel Sorensen for his game-changing helmet-to-helmet hit on Rashard Higgins during the Browns' 22-17 loss to the Chiefs in the AFC divisional round, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported on Monday. The play will be reviewed for a possible fine, which is standard. The same thing can likely be said about Mac Wilson's hit on Patrick Mahomes. No! Not true! Why are you comparing an obvious helmet-to-helmet contact with what Mac Wilson did? And you're a Cleveland reporter, you fucking cunt? Get real! Get real!
Mary Kay Cabbage for Brains strikes again.
Not to steal the thunder on your explanation here, but Sorensen actually left his feet. He dove. He was in the air as a projectile missile with his helmet crashing into Rashard Higgins to stop a potential game-changing touchdown.
And I do want to say this, because I don't believe that Daniel Sorensen should be suspended. All right? I don't. If you look at that play in real time, I mean, there's a guy who is lunging for the end zone, and you're the only thing between him and pay dirt. And yes, Daniel Sorensen made a team play that was a bold play that was dangerous to himself as well as potentially to somebody else. To do anything he could to keep that man out of the end zone.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that he could have possibly known that when he took off that he was going to have helmet-to-helmet contact with Rashard Higgins.
Yeah, I don't think the intent was there, if that's what you're saying. There was the intent was stop the play, not to fucking crash his helmet into the guy.
This is not Vontaze Burfict or James Harrison. This is not a situation where this is intentionally lowering the head and doing that. This is, I got to do something in the spur of the moment to prevent this guy getting into the end zone. I don't want people to think that I'm trying to take a win away from the Kansas City Chiefs. They deserve to win the game. I got no problem with that. But all of these things after the fact, it bothers me that, somehow they have to even this out. Our own press has to apologize for Mac Wilson sacking Patrick Mahomes. I mean, please. Is this the way it goes? I mean, to me, it's one of the most ridiculous things, and it's irritating as hell. The media has not been pleasing me particularly well today either. All right. And I'm going to get back to the game, but the season's over, and there's more to talk about that's way more important to me than just the outcome of games and the sports aspect of things. There's life aspects of things too. The Cleveland Cavaliers look to trade or waive Kevin Porter Jr. after an outburst. The way the story goes is this. Kevin Porter Jr. had finally gotten to a spot where he was actually practicing inside the Cavaliers facility and he hasn't played at all this year. And they've been taking him very slowly, step by step, because the young man has had some problems, as far as flipping a vehicle, having found a handgun, and there's been some violence issues. However, this all resulted after attending his first game against the Knicks. That evening, he had, quote, a screaming match with team officials after his locker was moved to an auxiliary area to accommodate arriving new teammate Taurean Prince, who came over as part of the deal that the Cavaliers got involved in as far as the James Harden deal. He arrived from the Brooklyn Nets along with Jared Allen in a trade. After this screaming match, Porter was told to clean out his locker, and other members of the roster were informed he'd no longer be on the team. All right. That's the story that's being reported. All right. There's more because Bub, my favorite guy, Chris Fedor, the worthless vegetable that he is, he says, it's all immaturity. It's all 20-year-old Kevin Porter's immaturity. And I'm sorry I have to call bullshit. And I'm sorry I have to blow the whistle. But this is not what it appears to be. The Cavaliers did everything they could step by step, but they're not psychiatrists. They're not people who are able themselves to help a man out who's suffering from mental liabilities. Kevin Porter Jr. is a sick young man. This is not immaturity. This is not anger management. This is a young man who put a picture of a black and white square on his Instagram feed and said, "Do you ever wonder when your life is just going to end?" And then try to take it down real quick, This is a guy who has deep emotional problems. This is Delonte West, but at 20. And I don't want people lying. I don't want reporters attributing this to immaturity. I do know people. I do talk to people. I kept my fucking mouth shut because the young man had a future because he's a fine athlete and he's really potentially a fine NBA player. But you're not going to find anybody really willing to trade for Kevin Porter. And if they do, once they find out what the situation is, they're not going to be doing it to help him out. I don't care about Kevin Porter's basketball career. I care about his life. This young man is showing instabilities that can cost him his life at a young age. And writing stupid articles that he's immature at 20 belies the truth of the situation. If we can't have the truth from reporting, what's the point of reporting? And goddamn it, Chris Fedor, you goddamn butthole licker. The fact of the matter is nobody wants to tell the truth until the damage is done. Nobody wanted to hear the truth about Delonte West until they had videos of him homeless in the fucking street. Nobody wanted to talk about it. I was told about it. I talked about it long before these videos of him being homeless. There's more to life than sports, folks. There's life itself. And it bothers me. Kevin Porter isn't a guy who came in and just threw a hissy fit about his locker being given to a guy. That's not what this was. This is a guy who just doesn't have control of himself. He was not impaired. They talked about the drunk driving. Read the report. If the reporters just leveled, he was found that he was not impaired when he rolled the SUV. How did he do it? Why did he do it? I don't know. But when people are putting up suicidal Instagrams and then taking them down, I become concerned. Then it becomes part of the public domain. If I put up something on Twitter saying I want to off myself, and then I just rush it down, it's up there forever. It's in the cocksucking cloud, okay? It's a matter of public record. And so it is with Instagram. And so it is with Kevin Porter. I hope he's okay. I hope he gets his life together. I hope Chris Fedor gets fired. I hope he never reports on anything ever again, bub, because you're a liar. And I don't know why you would want to denigrate a 20-year-old kid with mental illness. What in the fuck is the point? Goodness gracious. All right. Is that enough for you?
Kicking a 20-year-old? Oh, for those who watched the movie Risky Business, his rolling of the SUV kind of sounds like how the Porsche ended up in the lake.
Yeah, I mean, I'm,
Being dumb and being 20 years old is basically what I would chalk that up to.
yeah. Unfortunately, there's more to it than that. And this will come to pass because
On the other hand, Mark Hamill drove his Corvette in 1978 straight off of Canyon. So,
yeah, I really don't know how or why things end up the way they do. He's a gifted young basketball player, but he needs help. And it isn't that, oh shit, he's not going to be able to get, we wasted a pick on him. Let's see if we can get something for him. It's like, just make it stop. It's the type of thing that angers me because I'm not in this as a business. This is not what I do. This is just what I do for fun. But I'm not beholden to these people. I'm not beholden. The organization did everything right. They really did. They kept it quiet. And everybody played along. With this, Cavaliers are just giving up. They're not going to be able to trade him, and they know that. They're just parting ways. But I wish I wanted to make this story known so that somebody can look out for this young man, because the answer isn't staying with an NBA team. And it's just like Delonte West. If playing basketball were a cure for mental illness, talk to Kevin Love about depression. Talk to him about that. And he'll tell you that, playing basketball is not a cure for depression. It just isn't. It wasn't for bipolar condition for Delonte West either. It takes a lifelong commitment by loved ones and friends and family and people around him to get that done. And I hope it does get done, because he deserves better than, to be lied about and then to be basically insulted by suggesting that he's just immature. It's unbelievable. By the way, if you're wondering why Myles Garrett was coming in and out of the game, he pulled an oblique muscle. I don't know if you've ever done that before in your life. I have, and it's not very pleasant. And if you're wondering about Myles Garrett's guts, you got to be if you pulled an oblique and you kept coming back into the game, I mean, give him credit. He did the best he could do.
And after he did that, that was one of the plays was him chasing 20 yards down the field to tackle the receiver on the end around. I think McCole Hardman.
Mm-hmm.
So, he gave as much as he had.
Yeah. I mean, and I wrote to Mac Wilson and I told him that if he wanted to tune in and watch, I was going to exonerate him with photos. I mean, that's it's such a clear lie by the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm putting all my support behind Buffalo now. Nothing against Mahomes. I think he's a great talent. I think Kelsey's got to keep his fucking mouth shut, because he was also claiming that the Browns hit on Mahomes was dirty. And, he's been playing long enough. I don't know his axe to grind. He's from the Cleveland area. I don't know what his axe to grind is. But the fact of the matter is, every play in football is potentially a dangerous play. Today, you did not hear Rashard Higgins complaining about a helmet-to-helmet hit. That was as the reason why he fumbled the ball. The fact of the matter is, bad luck and bad timing sometimes hit. You move on. But making these excuses after the fact, it was it was like a wrestling takedown. That's really what it looked like to me. And it wasn't a blunt force kind of hit, and there's no reason to compare what happened to Rashard Higgins to what happened to Mahomes anyway. Football's a dangerous game. The players who play it know it. So that's, Andy Reid, nobody's going to question him but me. Nobody's going to come on ESPN and tell you that the old fat walrus is, lied his ass off about something in order to deflect attention from what was a ridiculous play call. And of course, what people always remember is the win and the loss. And, and I give them credit for going for it. All right. I give them credit for striking when the iron was hot and seizing the opportunity. I would have liked to have seen the Cleveland Browns go for 4th and 9. The reason is, even if you turn the ball over and if you can get stingy enough to stop them and they kick a field goal, you're still a touchdown and a 2-point conversion away from tying the football game. It gives you.
And the guy had missed kicks before too, so he could have technically missed another field goal had they gone for it. But just to point out, Andy Reid is actually 62 years old. How about that?
You don't look it.
It's older.
Yeah, and this is the point. It becomes. This is what we have to go through in the news cycle every day. Things that we obviously know are not true are being reported as true, and it's foolishness. It was a fucked up play, Key. It was like the play I showed you at the beginning of the program with the Browns. It was blocked in front just fine. The play design has to be to get that runner out of the backfield a little quicker, and maybe the problem with our play was that we weren't anticipating a jailbreak through the back side, the back end of that play. We thought that we could run past that, and it didn't turn out that way. That guy who grabbed Jones, who grabbed that jersey, saved their bacon. I'm telling you, that is easily, and I even had a photo that I did a still of, and I don't even know if I can do this.
Well, there's like a coach's film feature on Game Pass, so I might look for that to see what it looks like downfield. But you're absolutely right. If you're running away from the poor side of your offensive line and somebody actually beats one of the guys over there, chases your guy down, what can you do about it? So, yeah, there'll be a photo out there of the entire secondary. Chuck probably could have gotten 30, 40, 50 yards on that play.
Yeah, and again, I wanted to show you this. All right.
Wow, it's like infinity.
Is this working? Is this working?
No, there's like 20 Bronx now on the screen.
Oh, okay, so you can't see.
The longer you stare into abyss, the more it stares into you.
Yeah, all right. So that didn't work. All right, I thought I would. Yeah. That was
like Time Tunnel. Remember Time Tunnel? The swirl.
Oh yeah, that looks like the Time Tunnel. Yeah, the one that never worked. Again.
Anyway, I can't remember.
Edith Keeler must die.
It's. I guess from my perspective, the game ended the way the game ended. I would have liked to have seen us go for it on 4th and 9, because there is no tomorrow, and you still technically are alive. If you fail and give up a field goal, you're still technically alive. You got to have a playbook. What followed the play that I showed you, they just went blitz happy and forced the ball out of Baker's hands. And again, the only thing I would question now, thinking about this, is they were running a jailbreak scheme to get us off the field. And if we run the ball and get through the first wave, that's a huge game.
That's a touchdown.
So, I mean, they sold out, they gambled, and they won. And I hope that Kevin Stefanski does learn from this that, there are analytics involved, and there is deep thinking that gets involved. but sometimes it comes down to a little bit of San Bertigliano and a little bit of Riverboat Gambler. Sometimes it just comes to, this is our moment in the sun, and we either get it done or we don't. And this leaned a little bit more toward the Marty-esque thing as far as Marty Schottenheimer was concerned. A little bit on the conservative side, I would have liked to have seen, that one shot and giving Baker the opportunity at 4th and 9 to make a big play, because he proved he was up to it.
I mean, he might have even ran for it. You never know. I mean, he might have ran for 9 yards.
Yeah,
like
right. There was marijuana found in Kevin Porter's car as well. That is correct. The story that you read is that he would be traded or released. Yeah. And why do you think that is? You don't think that anybody would jump at the opportunity to get a young man who showed the promise that he had last year? They're not reporting the truth. And that's the sorry part of it. Me singing in French. You don't want me singing in French.
Look at what Tony the Cat
Ams did want to hear that.
Oh.
He was too busy getting drunk.
Look at Tony.
What's up with that? Tony the Calf.
I don't know. He has been, I don't know. It's funny. He has been involved in social media.
Is he trying to tell us he likes girls now or what? What's going on here?
No, I mean, he has gotten into Match.com and he's trying to,
oh my God.
Yeah. And,
we need DG here to talk him down.
No, he's going the other way with it, Bronk. He's kind of doing almost a social experiment on Twitter with it. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, he's
the misadventures of Match.com.
That's exactly something stuck this time. So I mean, maybe.
So what's the story? Maybe you can call up Tony's Twitter feed, because I don't ever want to be on Twitter again. So I won't now.
So now what's left to the Cleveland Browns is, how do you patch the holes that you have on your roster? We got the 26th pick in the first round. We know that now after the loss. The real question is, how in the hell are you going to get enough linebackers who are actually able to play? Honestly, I would say that.
There's going to be a couple of. I think there's going to be a couple of tiers, because you're going to have a reduced cap for 2021. Yeah. So a lot of these teams that have overspent for different players are going to end up cutting some damn good veterans. Number two, I think that there's also going to be some decent guys coming up through the draft.
Yeah. Well, all of Ohio State's linebackers have declared for the draft. Tough Borland and Hilliard and the other guys.
Browning.
Yeah, Browning. Yeah, they're all out there. I mean,
our best tackling linebacker, B.J. Goodson, and Malcolm Smith, they're on expiring 1-year deals. All right. Taki looks like a backup.
But again, he's valuable for special teams.
He's like the Anderson Brazier linebackers, isn't he? I mean, he's got a lot of energy, but no talent,
Well, I mean, one of the things that was, apparent, and it was nice that the people on Cleveland.com actually wrote about this, because I talked about it and was getting into arguments after the game with people in the chat room who refused to see what anybody with eyes could see, was that the Browns played slow. We need to address speed, because we just don't. We don't have any. We play. Way slower than the other teams that were in this final pairing and groupings of teams.
But on offense, that actually worked to their favor, because it limited the amount of times that Mahomes could go down and score touchdowns, especially in the first quarter.
Well, but there's a difference between playing a prevent with quick guys and then playing something with guys who are slow, and this is a massive problem. And again, we're going back into screen share mode. If I can find out.
I think we only had the ball 7 times in the game. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And we forced 0 punts. I mean, how many games do you win when you lose the turnover battle and you don't cause the other team to punt? You win.
I thought they were tied in turnovers.
No, we fumbled one out of the end zone and we had an interception.
Oh.
Now this is like a third down. This one I'm talking about East-West football, folks. All right, that's the easy pitch and catch that got an important first down for Chad Henne, and
the defender's 6 yards away from him, so that's an instant 4 yards before contact, and then they always fall fucking forward to pick up another 2 yards.
Now look, we'll do this again. We stop the play. Ogunjobi is here, and instead of rushing from this side, he, for some reason, goes into the sea of humanity. And you can already see that the lane is starting to develop. And then you can see that it fully develops, and it enables him to there's nobody pressuring the quarterback, and there's nobody out here. And if you take a look at how long it takes for the players to react to this before the ball is even thrown, I mean, you're expecting a guy who's sitting here this far off to be able to close in a situation like this. And what you're asking for is basically for a lineman to be able to run over, or a linebacker like Goodson to outrun. The fullback has 4.7 speed. Honest to God, he runs a 4.7 40. The guy is slow, but it's still got the job done. And the reason it gets the job done is because you're going up against a slow team. And
that, to me, that was clearly a blown assignment, because nobody took the running back out of the backfield.
I mean, look, here we go. East-West.
There are about 5 guys around Reed Hill on that play.
Here, why don't I just trot on in, because there's nobody over there and there's nobody crashing the party on that side of the line. I mean, slow. Absolutely slow. There are repeated examples, all right? Look at the play that Myles Garrett chased down Mecole Hardman, but look at this play for what it is, which is another example of just letting a guy out into open space, and then he proceeds to outrun everybody. There we go. Bye.
Bye.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, you just can't win that way with guys who just are. And we know Kansas City is the fast team. We know that. And even on the offensive side of the ball, a guy like Rashard Higgins, who's really a nice possession receiver, you're seeing this on the screen right now being repeated over and over. There's not as much separation for Baker Mayfield receivers as there were for Mahomes.
And the safety would have killed him had he caught that. He'd been concussed.
So, I mean, Baker Mayfield's doing remarkable with what he has to work with, but we don't have separation from our receivers. So all of this points to a simple fact that we're just not fast enough. I mean, I'd like to tell you.
And the thing with, if you look at Baker's, if you're just looking at Baker's game stats, you think, oh, well, he missed a lot of passes. No, he was on fucking target with a lot of his passes, but the defense played the way they're supposed to. They were on top of the receivers, and the wide open receivers dropped passes. Chubb had 2, Hooper had another one, and they all had them.
But wait, there's more. I promised I'd be sharing things with you. This is compliments of Dustin Fox, who I think knows something about football, having played the game a little bit. This is the 13.5-yard scramble by Chad Henne. And take a look bit by bit how this develops. And once again, you're going to see.
You're going to drop him. You're going to drop him. And then you're going to have a four-man rush. And Claiborne's going to get a field. And then what happens here is Ogunjobi's going to over-pursue to the left side. And then watch what happens here. Watch what happens. Play it. So right here. Claiborne's upfield. And so what's going to happen is he's going to step up. And you got all these dudes dropping out. Now all three defensive linemen are on the left side. So you've got no contain on Henne. So all of a sudden, Henne's like...
I mean, there is nobody within 20 yards of where he is.
It's big field. It's
They're not nobody even looked back. Nobody even looked back. I mean, it's
scared shitless to give up the big play, though. That's what it was. And then...
The guy that's looking back is on the 46-yard line on the other side of the fucking field.
Yeah, on the other side of the logo.
I mean, it's and again, and the reason is nobody wants to get beat deep. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, we're sitting here playing, Jabril Peppers. Look at this guy back here.
That's Jabril.
You know.
I think that's Harrison or something. I can't see who that is. Or
I don't know what they thought was going to happen down there, you know. And the other thing that's remarkable about this,
we got outcoached. You know, we got fucking outcoached.
Well, the thing is that, and again, I'm not convinced that Joe Wood should have a job, but he also doesn't have any players. So I want to figure out what in the hell is being thought, what the thought process is. What is Ogunjobi doing here? I mean, he's not trying to rush the passer. He just stops. He just literally runs into a pile of humanity and stops.
I think he's thinking he might back pass down or something. He's ready to put his hand up. But there's no pass.
Well, and the tackle did his job by running Claiborne clean by Chad Henne.
Yeah.
So
step up, and then you got all these dudes dropping out. Now all three defensive linemen are on the left side, so you've got no contain on Henne.
There's just no way that can happen.
I think Ogunjobi's thinking he's going to bat pass down.
Yeah. I mean, this is just ridiculous. So, I mean, there are questions about Joe Woods. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's our guy.
Well, you're making a very valid point. What's the problem? Is it the problem the players? Is it the problem the coach? Or is it both? You know, and you can't tell because there's no way of defining the variables involved.
Well, what it tells me, and it's what bothers me most, except the things I've already talked about on the program, what bothers me the most, thinking about the game after the fact, is they're 4th and a half a yard. They pass the ball to Tyreek Hill and let their best receiver make the play that wins the game. They bring in Chad Henne and they let him throw the ball the first time that he gets his hands on the ball. They run a tricky pitch option. They trust him enough to do that. They make the aggressive call. And in every instance in yesterday's game, the Cleveland Browns made the conservative call that required no testicles. And it's a problem because I know we don't have the horses, but we're in the game and we're within one score and the offense could have scored another touchdown. It could have been done. But the bottom line is, and it's the same thing we've seen in other games, we stopped rushing the quarterback. We decided we're going to send everybody back down the field and we're not going to even... And the thing is that our linemen, the guys who are rushing, aren't even rushing. They're going out at half-ass, half speed, like saying, we're just going to let him pass. It's Chad Henne, and he can't do it.
Correct.
Plus, we have all the help behind us with the secondary. Everybody should be playing with the highest motor. Everybody should be out there trying to get to Chad Henne, to get a hand in his face, to do whatever it was. He ain't going to outrun somebody if there are people in the backfield with him. That's what the Chiefs did to us when we were after the play that I showed initially in the program where Chubb was grabbed by the jersey and brought down. They ran the kitchen sink at us 2 plays in a row. One basically. Mayfield just had to throw into the ground. The other one, he had to fling out into the flat to Kareem Hunt, and the play was blown up for a 3-yard gain. They went for it. At no point did I see any evidence that we're like, we got to get these fuckers off the field, and we got to get after this guy. We didn't try. And then we end up passively allowing that run. That's a concern. And that's the one concern for Kevin Stefanski. It's like, I understand your tendencies. I understand that, but you got to step out. To win in this league, it takes more than just brains. It takes a little bit of daring do. And that's got to come with time with this coach. I know you don't have the fastest players. You don't have the greatest defensive players, but they're the ones. You dance with what brung you. They're the ones on the field at that moment. Somebody's got to make a play. And if you want to go ahead and retreat, that's what you're going to get. And that defensive call was a retreat. I don't think that's the way we wanted to see the season end. I think and again, they're saying that is Joe Woods' scheme, and it may well be because he doesn't have the players he wants to have. But damn it, you have a chance to get them off the field and win that game and get into the championship game. The AFC Championship, you got to do better than that. You got to have a little bit more faith.
And Donnie Tabasco, where are those number 1 picks on the team?
Quarterback.
Yeah, they've had number 1 picks, but where are those first round picks on the roster? There ain't but 3 players from 2018.
That's right.
Or 2017. The 0-16 team. So, yeah, you get those picks, but what's been done with them?
And what's funny here, can you imagine?
We watched Mitchell Schwartz earn a goddamn Super Bowl ring with the Chiefs.
There is reason, and it's not all black and white, and there's gray. And Hallie Elizabeth, I'll answer it this way. Ask Greg Williams. Imagine if you blitzed. It isn't that simplistic. The fact is, you don't have to go all out and blitz your lungs out. But my God, that guy who's standing 40 yards away from the play can be used in a better capacity to create some kind of havoc that changes the course of that play, because he serves no functional purpose in that play. You only got guys on the field.
Or at least run 5 defensive linemen. Take your linebackers out, run all defensive backs, and take your chances.
Yeah, I mean, and
at least they would have had the running lane contained, and maybe they do end up getting a sack on Chad Henne because he's got to hold the ball for 7 or 8 seconds for somebody to finally get open.
Now, Donnie Brasco don't have the horses. Look, I'm not going to get into the conversation of how we wasted draft picks. I'm talking about now. I'm talking about today, and I'm not looking behind me. There's no rearview mirror now. We are a playoff caliber team. We need to get better. This is a constructive conversation, and dragging the shit in the past about Barkevius Mingo and God only knows who else was drafted by this organization
Justin Gilbert
is what you do from this point forward that matters. Just like it doesn't really matter about 18 years of Pigpen Roethlisberger and how great the Steelers are. It's what they do now when they have a real problem with as far as their payroll is concerned. And they have a diminishing skills 38-year-old quarterback, an aging offensive line, and running backs who aren't very good. It's what you do from this point forward that will determine how deep the hole is that you fall into. Having the number 1 pick don't matter if there are people who just don't know how to do the job. So, no.
Or their skill set can't match your scheme.
Yeah, and we don't know what Delpit is. We don't know what Greedy is. Phillips is a guy who fits the statistical bill. This is the analytics pick that the Browns used in the third round. Phillips is a guy who has speed and has size, and they may want to bring him along. The problem is, as much as I was defending Mack Wilson had a rough year this year. He didn't adjust to whatever the situation was, and Stefanski dropped him down the depth chart as the season progressed. And I'm not inside the clubhouse to understand what the reasons are for these things, but Mack Wilson did not have the year that a lot of fans hoped that he would have in his second year. So I don't know. He fits the bill physically. Whether he's actually able to accomplish this, I'm not really sure. All right. I got to end the show in a certain way. And this also, and there's so much more. I mean, this could have been a 2-hour show, believe me, with the things that are that have come up. Los Angeles Chargers hire Rams Brandon Staley as their head coach. Staley served the past season as the Rams defensive coordinator, developing the top-ranked defense of the NFL behind star defensive tackle Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Staley's unit propelled the Rams to a 10-6 season and a wild card playoff win. All right. With the Chargers, Staley replaces Anthony Lynn. All right. So this is a guy who now has inherited Justin Herbert, who is a defensive specialist. All right. That's one. All right. This is even more unbelievable. Now that the Saints are eliminated, the Detroit Lions are expected to hire the Saints assistant head coach, tight ends coach Dan Campbell as their next head coach, according to Adam Schefter, who's rarely wrong about these things. While they're still working out a deal, it is not considered an obstacle, and Campbell is the head coach the Lions plan to hire. He would replace the defunct Matt Patricia, who went 13-29-1. Here's the beautiful part about this. The 44-year-old Campbell has never been a coordinator in the NFL, is viewed as a motivator, and somebody who can bring a team together instead of an X's and O's guru. Now, if you were Eric Bieniemy and you sat and you looked at this on Martin Luther King Day and you watch some 44-year-old guy who's never been a fucking coordinator in the NFL and is viewed as a motivator, why don't they hire fucking Tony Robbins if they want a motivator? Why do you hire a head coach who has no X and O's experience? Why? The last time I saw that happen was a guy named Freddie Kitchens. This doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. How in the hell can a team that 4 times now has been to the AFC Championship game and has a Super Bowl, and their offensive coordinator, an important, hugely important position on an NFL football team in 2020 and 2021, isn't even getting a look-see by these teams? How is it possible?
I have a theory on Bieniemy.
All right.
I think this. I do see that he's interviewing with this. I'm reading the news. My girlfriend's getting her nails done, so I have a break. I think this is the Josh McDaniels. Remember that whole fiasco that he was going to replace Bill Belichick? I think Bieniemy is. I think there's an agreement with the Chiefs that Bieniemy is just going to replace Andy Reid once he retires.
Or at least that's the consensus around the league.
Yeah, that's my belief.
Guy was 62 years old. I don't know how long that has to. It just. But again, let's take Eric Bieniemy out of the equation. All right.
Right.
I mean, how does Dan Campbell outflank other minority candidates? It was nice to see Saleh get his position, but he's a Muslim. And I don't know what that has to do with the price of anything. I don't understand, except that he knows how to blow things up. I have no idea what the hell.
I kill you!
Yeah, I will kill you! But what's that guy?
Jeff Dunham is now the offensive coordinator.
What's his name? The puppeteer guy who does that.
Yeah, Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham with Ahmed, the dead terrorist.
Ahmed, yeah, there it is. Yeah. But, again, it makes you see that there's just no real progress being made here. There's no progress at all. I mean, that these guys, how in the hell? I mean, what's the old saying? All you have to be is white to make it in this world. How in the hell does Dan Campbell get to that position? And the Lions, who are like by far now the worst organization, 3 generations removed from the William Clay Ford, who didn't have a quarterback and didn't have anything, to now his daughter or whatever. These people have no fucking idea what they're doing, and they need to be replaced. The people in Detroit deserve better than this, for God's sakes. Matt Patricia was bad enough.
Nothing's happening with the Rooney Rule when fucking Marvin Lewis is the one black candidate that gets interviewed every year.
Yeah.
And what the fuck has Marvin Lewis done to fucking prove anything?
Well, I mean, not only that, but I mean, the whole idea is the way you find your way to the higher levels is by you put in your time. I started out in the radio business as a fucking janitor in a radio station. This is true. And I then ran religious programming tapes and some live religious programming that other people were on the air, and I was just running the equipment for them. And then I got to go on the air a little bit, and then I started doing commercial production, and then I started doing music direction and some programming things, and I learned automation systems. And then you build your way up. A lot of these guys start out as guys who look at the game film and they analyze game film and they learn the game that way. The way that you see some of the women now who are coming up in the NFL and the NBA, learning the game and building their way up toward what in the NFL is probably nothing. In the NBA, maybe it is. The problem is, how does this tell an African-American man who is somewhere in a coach position, that where is the ascension when guys like Dan Campbell get hired? How does that happen? A guy with no X's and O's, how can he be a head coach? That just didn't make any sense to me. When I got hired as a general manager of a radio station, I was 27 years old. People said, God damn, he's too young to be a general manager. But I'd done every fucking job in the building. I'd run sales forces. I sold on the street myself until I got holes in the soles of my shoes. I had program experience, on the air experience. I did play-by-play sports at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. I mean, anything I could. I built a goddamn fucking radio station with 2 other guys at the University of Massachusetts. So I learned engineering in a crude way. Whatever it was, like a sponge, But if there's no upward ascension possible, what's the motivation? All right, and thank you, Chill Bill. That is correct. Being Palestinian is more proper, right? And so he is the first Palestinian head coach. I wonder if I could sometime get an interview with him and just sit down and kibitz with him. Forget it. Yeah, that's not proper either. But I'm not proper. I'm not in a proper mood today. But at any rate, I wanted to point out Martin Luther King.
You can send him a case of bagels.
Yes.
Will the drink of choice at this meeting be Manischewitz?
It's like, hey, hummus me a tune. No, we're not going to do this. This is wrong,
Go filter yourself.
But I mean, competent people, a guy like Kevin Stefanski, he's a bright guy, and look, he did a great job. He's the coach of the year. If he's not, then then we should start believing Andy Reid. But the truth is that he's the coach of the year. He did the job, but he has room to grow. He'd be the first to admit. I mean, this is a nice piece of first success that he's had. Got to build on it. It's only going to get more difficult, and you got more decisions to make. You're not going to take people by surprise. The beauty of it is we got a good offensive line. We got great running backs. We have a wonderful quarterback, and we've got tight ends who can help us out. We've got those things going for us. Now we have to build the rest of the football team, and the head coach has to understand situational things, and it comes with experience. He'd do it differently. I know that he's sitting there saying, man, if I had that opportunity, I'd do it differently the next time. And that's what it is. Nobody's a genius after 1 year in the biz, you know? So, yes, Bronk.
Is there a Peter Alice play of the season?
Oh, of the season.
Play of the season. Oh, I'm dead now.
Yeah, let me get Death Boy on the air here. Let me see what I can. What would be the play of the year for the whole damn year? I'm trying to think of the worst play that I've seen in the Browns season. What was the worst play that
doesn't even have to be the Browns? I mean, I was thinking of the
whole season.
Cardinals and the Hale Murray.
Oh, well, but he would find fault with the defense. It would be something like, "Oh, I understand exactly how fabulous a play it was. He was running the opposite way, running to the left, and he threw against his body, and he threw what appeared to be like a discus throw into the end zone. And I understand the effort that was made. But why would you just allow yourself to be out-jumped that way? If you're a midget, why are you on the field? Oh, and why do bad things always seem to happen to bad teams? I don't know."
Oh, the Buffalo Bills stuff. So they have a chance to redeem themselves.
And why would a kicker for Kansas City named Butt Kisser keep his job after spraying kicks all over the field? Oh, that was a real surprise, though, man. That really was. That was weird because that guy's been really good.
Yeah, he's normally automatic.
Well, the guy in the Ravens missed kicks, but that was because there's like
Tucker missed kicks too.
Did you see the first one that joinked off the goalpost? And you can see Parkey in the sidelines going, yeah. It's fucking PTSD, you know, for Parkey looking at God almighty.
Hey, he only missed like 3 field goals. If you look at his stats, I think.
It's the extra points that he had a little bit of trouble with. And
I think it's like, 19 and 22, if I remember.
Yeah, there's nothing better, though, for him to watch somebody else doink it. And he's like, see, it's not just me. It's not just me. Jesus screwed him over that time. It's not just me. You know, but those kicks weren't even, I mean, the one was wickedly hooked. I mean, like, what in the world? And then all the snaps and the holds looked proper to me.
Chip Donovan was blaming the holder on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I had the radio on and I had the thing on. I had Tony Romo turned off. So,
I'll do this one. This is good, Rick. Good. Thanks for this. That would be the play of the year.
Yeah. That was. I said that yesterday. Really.
Oh, back to throw. This is a big one. 10-3. This is the opportunity for the Ravens to get back in the game to throw. Lamar Jackson. He's looking. Oh, he threw the ball someplace that he shouldn't have thrown it. Oh, right into that. Oh, the man's still running. My goodness. If he had a full tank of gas, he could have run all the way to Canada. Oh, it's just a horrific scene. Why did he throw that ball? Oh, yeah, that was painful, and that's enough.
John Madden would have done it.
Why? What would Madden have said?
John Madden would have done good on that one. Yeah, John Madden would have gone, boom, he caught the ball. And boom, he goes this way.
Yeah, well,
And not even Lamar Jackson can run him down from behind. What the hell is that?
Boom.
I could rest real well at
How
night.
fast is that guy? Was he using one of those goddamn fancy roller skates with only one row of rollers?
Baker Mayfield played well in the game. It's not like I have to worry about whether Baker is my quarterback or not. But those Ravens fans now, they got to wonder. It's like, can Lamar Jackson have to actually win a game where he has to throw the ball down the field without running the ball? Is he?
Hey, they got John Harbaugh and Greg Roman and all that. I'm happy.
Yeah, if I were a fan, I'd be a little bit uptight. It's like, geez, that's not the throw you needed right then and there. And God, all this bad shit happens to this dude in the playoffs. It's like that's not the start you want to get off to. So that's that. I gotta get out of here.
Shit that everybody got when Brian Slick did Red Right 88, man. It's Lamar, man.
Yeah, I mean,
worst play than that.
You got to overcome bad plays that you make, but boy, when they're timed that way, it's really difficult. I got to get out of here. It's 11 minutes past. But everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in. And I'm sorry that I was a bit bellicose earlier in the program, but the fact is that I have no time for reporting, things that are not factual and purposely avoiding those issues and then turning around and twisting a story into something that it's not. Tony, are you still with me before I go?
I'm still here.
You met her on Match.com?
I did.
How large are her breasts?
They're about a C cup.
Wow.
No, how long ago did you meet her? Seriously.
About 3 weeks ago.
And she's still seeing you?
Yes. We've been talking. I asked her out the other day. She said yes. So, hey.
How about that? How old is she?
32.
32, and you're 30.
Well, there you go.
You're 30. Yeah, that could work. That could work real good. Has she been married before?
No, but she does have one kid who's 4, which whatever. You know what I mean?
And now she's got 2.
Not yet.
Her kid and Tony.
Yeah.
I come
Somebody's
from
really
4,
impressed with your
so
bedroom.
technically she's got 5.
Well, that's wonderful. You've had girlfriends before. Don't screw it up, Tony. Yeah.
I won't.
Yeah. You can't see about the other person. I'm living proof. You can only vouch for yourself in these matters, But,
right.
I wish you all the happiness.
No, and I haven't fallen asleep while she's below me, so we're making progress.
In 3 weeks, has it gone that far? Okay, well,
I'm not supposed to kiss and tell, but
humana. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's that's good. Yes, a 4-year-old child.
Yep.
All right, cool. And she has a job.
What was that?
She has a
She
job.
has a job.
Yeah, she does. She is the owner of her own business, actually.
Oh, really?
There you go.
The entrepreneurial one. Good. Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad that you guys met one another. You should put a picture of the two of you up on Twitter, or at least send it to me privately. See what your girlfriend's like.
I'll get that. I'll send her a picture of you. We haven't actually taken a picture yet because her mom doesn't really like me that much.
I can't imagine why.
Well, her mom is kind of a stick in the mud, and so she gets mad that I swear, and that I like to gamble.
Fuck her. Oh, I'm sorry.
That I like to gamble and have a cocktail every now and then. So it's kind of a warming up process. So.
Yeah, she was hoping for more for her daughter. Oh.
Tony the cat, you can help for.
Oh, and hi again to our Great White North visitor, Key.
Yeah, it's nice to see Canadians who are watching the program, and I get the feeling that
correction. I have to correct the record.
What?
I have to correct the record. I said she was a Maple Leafs fan. She is a Blue Jays fan and likes the New York Rangers. So, but she does like she likes the Browns as a football team. So,
is she like a potential love interest for you, Brian?
I don't know. Time will tell.
When a guy doesn't come out and go, "Fuck no," I mean, there's something there. I feel like I'm the Match.com guy.
Hey.
I can bring people together.
Okay, now your task: find a woman for Stephen Rose.
Oh God,
that's too difficult.
God, there's your Mission Impossible. You're now Ethan Hunt. This message will self-destruct.
What the hell? There's no way.
It took you 14 years to find somebody for me. How long will it take?
Yeah, I've really been of great help. But, I've never heard Brian speak of a woman in such glowing terms as Key. I put one and one together and thought, hey, there may be a little smoke and a little fire here,
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, well, Edmonton to Phoenix is not a short distance, so there's that.
Look, there are greater distances that have been overcome.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean,
plane tickets are cheap right now. The problem is you'd have to go to Minnesota, and then you'd have to turn around because they can let you into Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
And is Key?
They definitely won't let me into Canada. Oh, we'd like to look at your social media, eh?
Is Key politically right leaning as you are?
I don't think anybody.
I would say yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's important, you get similarities in people, and what you can do is you can come up with theories of why you need to go see her in Edmonton. It's worth a play. It's worth a try, So, all right. But I hope everything works out well for everybody. Hey, 2021's a whole new year, and what the heck? We'll get this thing whipped, this whole thing. And by the time you're vaccinated, Brian, just think, she can fly, you can fly,
That will be done by force.
And R. Kelly believed he could fly. And he did. But
well, R. Kelly also liked 13-year-old girls being urinated.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're not going there. Thanks everybody for tuning in to this edition of Moohead Radio. I promise you.
It was a good analytical show, and then it went to Tony the Cat's love life and took a severe downward spiral.
It always does. I mean, we've had Tony the Cat's love relationship.
DG counseling Tony was one of the best shows ever.
We've raised Tony the Cat. So he's now 30. He's a full-fledged man, and he knows exactly what he's looking for in a woman.
Okay, in 6 months to the head, we will live stream the wedding live here on Moohead Radio.
Oh, yeah, that would be just like Tiny Kim's wedding was back in the 60s. All right, thanks, everybody. Back again on Friday, and we'll be talking more sports. Until then, hasta la vista, Patrick. Good night.
See y'all.